Horizons, how the rooftop garden is going to save cities. Roughly 80% of America's population live in urban areas. Cities represent the mixing of cultures, inspiration, and a landscape of opportunity. Unfortunately, they're also notorious for their dense populations, pollution, and a jungle of concrete. Pollution hurts. 80% of people who live in cities have health conditions that make it more difficult for them to breathe. 98% of cities in low to middle income countries have dangerous pollution levels. 56% of countries with middle to high income have dangerous levels of pollution. When we breathe polluted air, it irritates our airways and causes symptoms such as asthma, chest pain, and shortness of breath. Farming, transportation, and electricity can all contribute to pollution. Pollution can be so much more common in cities because there are more people doing actions that hurt the environment. So how can we stop it? Many sources recommend we reuse, reduce, and recycle, choose a clean or sustainable form of transportation, or support a green business. But these solutions fail to address some of the biggest reasons why we still deal with pollution today, one of which being money. We all want to stop pollution, but money always gets in the way. Earth-safe materials are often more expensive than regular ones and can be more difficult to find. Public green spaces almost always generate less money than industrial corporations. So here's where Green Horizons comes in. Green Horizons is an organization dedicated to decreasing pollution, health issues, and anxiety in cities with the help of the rooftop garden. Rooftop gardens reduce the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, save space, and bring more plants into cities. They also are inexpensive, help you maximize your property, and can be fun. Some argue that building a rooftop garden takes serious commitment. Watering plants increases your water bill, but Green Horizons provides employees to help you build your garden and get started planting. Your water bill may rise, but plants can provide natural insulation, lowering your electricity bill while reducing stress. Green Horizons sends you all of the materials you'll need to create a rooftop garden. They help you pick and choose which plants you want to grow and give you basic information on the plants best for your climate with a suggested watering schedule. They also provide professionals to help you get your garden started, have a special website for all of your gardening questions, and offer a monthly subscription that will help send you new types of seeds for your garden, equipment, and earth-healthy gear. Only you can stop pollution, so sign up for the Green Horizons program and make a difference in your plant's health. Set up your garden with the help of trained professionals from the Rooftop Gardens Network. Decrease pollution in your city by contributing to the Green Horizons community and decrease your carbon footprint. Improve your community with your use of a Green Horizons rooftop garden. Thank you for watching.
Okay, Zoe, you have 1 minute and 40 seconds to make some supplementary remarks, and your time starts now.
All right. Hi, my name's Zoe, and I go to Exeter High School. So for this program, the problem that I chose to solve is pollution in cities and the health problems that come with it. Ever since I was little, I've loved to play sports. As I got older, I found that it was continuously more difficult for me to breathe while running. I always thought something was wrong with me or that I just wasn't as good as these other people. But then my father started to travel to cities. And whenever he returned, he often told my family and I how he struggled to breathe in polluted air. So we went to a doctor, and it turns out that like many people in urban areas, well, I don't live in an urban area, but we have a symptom similar to asthma that makes it more difficult for us to breathe. This is off the charts in cities, where as many as 80% of the population have conditions and make it more difficult for them to breathe. This isn't a coincidence because pollution in cities can often bring about symptoms such as asthma and shortness of breath, hurting our cities and decreasing our citizens' physical well-being. Today, many businesses around the world are making an effort to decrease carbon footprint or become carbon neutral by planting trees, but they're usually planted in agricultural areas or different countries. There's nothing wrong with this, but the populations that tend to need the support of trees the most, like those who live in cities, are often left without them. My solution to this problem is a program that I call Green Horizons, as you saw. We are a company that encourages and supplies rooftop gardens in cities in order to decrease pollution, and increase mental well-being.
Thank you, Zoe. Beautiful job. All right, judges, it's your time to shine. Mikey.
Great presentation. Take it from someone who loves to grow plants to I have a greenhouse in the backyard that I built with my dad this summer. So I'm actually just a little bit curious about like what species of plants are you going to focus on? Are you going to focus on natives? Are you going to focus on, say, vegetable or produce, those types of things? Just genuinely curious.
So like I said in my presentation, like no matter where you live, you're going to have a different type of plant that's going to grow better. So for more beginning gardeners who are more like beginners, the company or programs might try to recommend a plant that's easier to grow in your area. But for those who do wish to choose a different plant or species, no one's going to stop you from doing that. You can really choose anything you want. We just provide guidelines to help you get the best experience.
Perfect. Thank you.
Allison.
Zoe, love this idea. Have lived a good part of my life in cities and now live in rural New Hampshire. So understand the challenge that cities present and think you have nailed a really good solution. One of the curiosity that I was a part of a community garden in Chicago, and so there are some really interesting possibilities. So I'm curious if your target customer is really a homeowner and an individual, or if your target customer are corporate industrial buildings that house workplaces or both.
Great question. So while the company, I'd assume, would actually start with homeowners and those who do own their own building, it like the appeal of a rooftop garden, we can go into Boston or any of our nearby cities and often see some, but these tend to be in higher income neighborhoods. So they can, having that outdoor space, especially in a city, can really raise the price of a home. So if our program offers these cheap solutions to these problems for people who own apartment buildings or businesses and companies, such as you said, then that could also help the company, not just in having a nice, pretty place for plants, but could also raise the cost of their building or increase the neighborhood or increase appeal. And I feel personally that that could be something that community programs and schools and other organizations would be interested in taking a part in as well.
All right, Alex.
Hey, Zoe. Thanks for sharing this idea with us. I was wondering, I was reading through your document and you mentioned an optional subscription. I was wondering if you could say a little bit more about like the kind of the model. You know, I just like about the seed delivery, about like, I know you're offering guides, are you offering like kind of the building materials to set up the planters, or is there just a guide about that? Can you say more about like what the service delivery is?
So initially, when you went on our website or signed up for something with the company, then we'd send you the materials you need, or you could probably choose something to recommend the materials that you'd like so that you can choose your own gardening materials. But when it comes to subscriptions, that would be more if you build your rooftop garden and you're really enjoying it, but you want to mix it up. Maybe you want to try a new plant, or maybe you just need more supplies. If you're interested in our program, similar to maybe National Geographic or Patagonia has other tabs, obviously, besides those fun coats and stuff, you can choose different selections. You can not only just have your garden, but if you wanted, we could send newsletters or magazines. We could send new types of plants and gardening materials. Just increase your positive experience.
Awesome. Let's go with Erin.
Hey, I overall really loved your idea. I think it adds a lot of value to cities and like encourages people in the cities not only to make a better environmental impact, but also to encourage accountability. So I think it's a really good concept overall. I just wanted you to expand a little bit, if you could, on your customer base. Are you hoping to find people that are experiencing gardening that can kind of take this and run with it? Or are you hoping to create more of a learning atmosphere where you can teach people to create sustainable gardens in the future?
So that's actually a really good question. So our program initially would focus not only on the gardening part, because obviously that's the nice fun part, but in our efforts to combat pollution. So really, we'd be open to any type of customer using our services. Those who are more experienced gardeners likely wouldn't need the help and professionals that our service would provide, but hopefully our subscription then would get them into some new plants or like just inform them about environmental safety more. Whereas with new gardeners, I believe that we do provide the services and materials needed to get your garden started. So really, I feel that our program would be open to anyone regardless of experience.
Awesome. And just so you know, we've got about 2.5 minutes left. Let's go to Marissa.
Thank you so much. Great presentation. I was just wondering if it, because it's in the cities and so many cities have different, zoning regulations. I was kind of wondering, is it on the customers when they subscribe to be aware of these, or does your program kind of have background knowledge on those as well? Like whose side kind of is it on? I was just curious.
So as a company where we'd be providing you with something that would take place in your home and in your environment, then typically the role would be for the customer to find out what if they have a landlord, what they would be okay with, what space they have, what difficulties their place might have. But also we could, with our subscription and things, we could also offer maps of where places would do well with plants and with, like you said, with zoning difficulties.
Great, thank you so much.
Maddie.
I love the presentation. I'm just wondering, who would you partner with to increase awareness to your problem and then the program?
So when we're discussing partners, I feel that the most beneficial wouldn't be like a big corporation, but something closer to a community or on a local level. Because as I said earlier in my presentation, gardening doesn't only increase your environment's well-being, but it helps lower stress and anxiety. So in these places that don't have a lot of plants, like I said earlier, the places that already have rooftop gardens tend to be higher income neighborhoods, and places that don't have that, those could be more the lower income places where the community could benefit most likely from something like gardening that could relieve stress and help their citizens. So I think that our ideal partner in a system like this wouldn't be technically like a big corporation, but more a school or a local platform that could help us out.
All right, awesome. Unfortunately, that's about all the time we have. Thank you